This is Traveller's Guide and welcome to another ESL English practice video. English as a second language for learners of English for a proficiency test such as IELTS, TOEFL, IGCSE and so on. Press the thumbs up if you like the video, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this, turn on the subtitles and leave a comment below if you want to. In this video, we're going to be looking at number idioms. Idioms are sayings that we use. They're often used in everyday conversation by native speakers, but they're very hard for learners to understand because they don't translate well. They don't literally mean what you're saying. If you can use idioms in your writing and speaking, it shows that you have a deep understanding of the language, and as long as you use them correctly and they are appropriate for the situation, they can boost your score. We are going to be looking at idioms today based on numbers, so all of the idioms will contain a number in them. Before we begin, I want to talk about this little rhyme. This is something that children are very familiar with, and it's based on this bird that we can see in the picture called a magpie. It's like a member of the crow family, it's black and white, and we get them all over the world, although they do look different in some different countries. And the idea is that if you see a group of magpies, it can predict your future, as the old story goes. And there is a rhyme to tell you what you will get, depending on the number of magpies that you see. We say, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. In other words, if you see just one magpie on its own, you are likely to be unhappy for some reason. So this is seen as bad luck. Whereas if you see 2, a pair of magpies, then this means that you're going to be happy. Something good will happen. If you see a group of 3 magpies, it suggests that you will have a daughter. If you see 4 magpies, it will be a son. 5 means you're going to be quite rich, you're going to get silver, and if you see 6, you're going to be very rich, you'll get gold. And if you see a group of 7 magpies, it means you'll be able to tell someone a secret and they will never tell anyone else. As we're dealing with number idioms today, I thought this would be a nice way to start. Now let's look at some idioms. Number 1, back to square one. This means you return to the start after failing to begin again. The picture shows a hopscotch board, or it could come from the board game Snakes and Ladders, when you have to go back to the beginning. So if you're back to square one, your attempt has failed and you must try again. Other idioms including the number 1 include 1 in a million. You can describe someone as being 1 in a million if they are extra special to you. Or the one and only. This means the original one. Some people describe themselves as the one and only and then follow that with their name. Next, to have one too many. This means you are drunk. You've had too much alcohol. And finally, come back in one piece. That means to survive a dangerous experience or to return from a dangerous situation unscathed. So if someone's going off to do something dangerous, you might say to them, I hope you come back in one piece. For number 2, we have like 2 peas in a pod. And you can see the picture, there are 2 peas there inside a pea pod. And we use this to describe 2 people who are very similar. Maybe they have very similar personalities, or they look similar, maybe they dress the same. So maybe 2 good friends, you might say, you're like 2 peas in a pod. Other idioms including the number 2, we have in 2 minds. That means you don't know which one to choose. So if you're confused about which choice to make, you might say, I'm in 2 minds. Then, it takes 2 to tango. A tango is a kind of dance. This implies that something can't be done by one person on their own. 2 people were involved. For example, if 2 children are fighting in the classroom and one of them tries to blame the other one, you might say, well, it takes 2 to tango. In other words, they're both to blame in some way. Next, lesser of two evils. This means there are two bad options, but one of them is not as bad as the other. So maybe you have to make a choice between something bad and something worse. You would choose the lesser of two evils. Then we have kill two birds with one stone. So this is when you do one thing and it ends up having two benefits. The idea is you go hunting, you throw one stone and you manage to hit two birds. Maybe it was a happy accident, or maybe this was your plan, but either way, one action has two outcomes. And finally, two wrongs don't make a right. This means if someone did something bad to you, you shouldn't do the same thing bad to them. That won't make it right. There are other ways to deal with problems. Two wrongs don't make a right. Don't retaliate. For the number 3, let's start with 3 strikes and you're out. This phrase comes from baseball, and it means that you get 3 chances to make a mistake, and if you make that mistake a third time, you have to go. Lots of schools and workplaces operate a 3 strikes rule. They'll give you 2 warnings and then you're on your last chance. We can also say things happen in threes. So maybe 3 good things happen all at the same time, or 3 bad things happen all at the same time. This is often said if 2 good things have happened, you're now on the lookout for a third. We often say 3 cheers for a celebration. For example, if someone has had a promotion, the family might give them 3 cheers to help them celebrate. 1 cheer would be hip hip hooray. Do that 3 times, 3 cheers. The next one is 3 square meals a day. Now if you're having 3 square meals a day, that means you're having breakfast, lunch and dinner. Everything is as expected at the regular times. It's like eating regularly. Then we have the phrase 2's company, 3's a crowd. In other words, us 2 people want to be alone together. You, the third person, are not welcome here at the moment. You're turning this into a crowd. We want some privacy. On to the number 4, and we have the phrase on all fours. Now as you can see in the picture, the man there is on his hands and knees. This is another way of saying on all fours, a bit like a 4-legged animal. Also with number 4, we have a 4-leaf clover. There's a picture of a 4-leaf clover there. It's a type of leaf with 4 leaflets joined together, and this is known as a symbol of good luck. Then to the 4 winds. This means scattered everywhere or in all directions. So you might say, my university friends went to the 4 winds after they graduated. So the people are now living all over the world. You could also say in this situation, the 4 corners of the globe. This is a bit of a strange one because a globe doesn't have corners, it's round. But the 4 corners of the globe are the 4 corners of the earth, 4 corners of the world, all over the world. And finally, you might hear someone say something like 80 years and 10. This means 90 years. So it could be described as someone's age. 80. A score is 20. So 4 20s are 80 plus 10. 80 years and 10. 90 years. Now the number 5. And we start with high five. You've probably heard of this one, but it means to clap your hand against another person's hand, often to celebrate an achievement, or it could just be a way of saying hello to someone. If you want to do a high five with someone, you might say to them, give me 5, or gimme 5 for short. That means let's do a high five. 5-star is a phrase that usually means the highest quality. Things often have ratings and stars. For example, a movie might have a star rating out of 5, or a hotel, it could be a 5-star hotel. It's of the highest quality. Next one is the 5th wheel. This is used to describe something that is not needed. For example, a car only needs 4 wheels. And you might describe yourself as feeling like a 5th wheel if you feel that you are surplus to requirements. You're hanging around not doing anything, you don't have a job to do, you feel like a 5th wheel. And then the last one here is take 5. If someone says to you, let's take 5, it means have a break. Take a rest for 5 minutes. Now the number 6, and we start with 6 feet under. This is an informal way of saying dead. It's a euphemism. It's a kinder or politer way to say that someone is dead. We can also say hit for 6. This idiom comes from the game cricket, and it means that you're confused, you're shocked, you don't know what to do next. You're not quite sure what's happening. You've been hit for 6. You might say, I feel like I've been hit for 6. Then we have 6-pack. If you have 6 stomach muscles visible, your abs, you would call this a 6-pack. And 666. Now, in some countries, this number represents the devil, and it's seen as very bad luck, maybe a kind of evil number. But in other cultures, the number 666 can mean something is cool. So just make sure you're using this in the right way. For 7, I've chosen the phrase 24/7. We could use this to mean all the time, and the 24 means 24 hours a day, the 7 stands for 7 days a week. So if you say, oh, I've been working 24/7, it means I've been working all the time. It doesn't have to literally mean 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It can be used in a metaphorical way just to mean a lot. You often see convenience stores advertise themselves as being open 24/7, so it's always open. Other ones for 7 include 7th heaven, which is a feeling of pure happiness. I'm in 7th heaven means I'm really happy. The 7 deadly sins are a list of bad personality traits or habits. 7 wonders of the world. This is a list of amazing structures or places of natural beauty. It could be the 7 wonders of the ancient world, such as the pyramids, or there are different lists of 7 wonders of the world, like the natural wonders or modern wonders. I don't think there is a definitive single list. It's open to interpretation. And we can also have the phrase the 7 seas, meaning all over the world. On to number 8, and here's the phrase 8 days a week. This means working really hard and you have no free time, almost like you're working for an extra day in the week. So quite similar to 24/7 in the last one. If I said I feel like I'm working 8 days a week, it means I'm really busy. A couple more examples for 8. We have 8ball. This is from pool. You can also get a magic 8ball, which apparently predicts your future. And here we have pieces of 8, which is an ancient currency often used by pirates. On to number 9, and we have the phrase 9 lives. For example, a cat has 9 lives, or so the saying goes. This means that a cat can survive some near-death experiences and still be okay. You could use this to describe a person. Maybe they almost get fired from their job on many occasions, but they just get away with it. You might say it's like they've got 9 lives. Other idioms using the number 9 include a stitch in time saves 9. This means doing a small task now prevents a bigger job in the future. Literally, this comes from sewing. So imagine you have a small rip in your clothes. At first you can fix it with one single stitch, but if you leave it, it might get worse, and then you'll have to use 9 stitches in the future. Next we have on cloud 9. This is very similar to 7th heaven. If you say you're on cloud 9, it means you are really happy about something. And then we have dressed to the nines. This means you are wearing your finest clothes. And number 10. If something is excellent or done perfectly, we might describe it as being 10 out of 10. Even if it's not literally being marked, if it's not actually a test. Maybe your friend cooks a meal for you and they say, how did you like it? And you said, oh, 10 out of 10. In other words, perfect. And then we can also use the phrase perfect 10 to say that something is perfect. And we have the idiom hang 10, which means to have a relaxing day. Well, that was a list of idioms there from numbers 1 to 10. Lots of different phrases for you to try and remember and try to use. But before we go, here we have a picture with 7 magpies. Can you remember the saying we have about the different numbers of magpies? Let's look at it again. It was 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. And that takes us to the end of our lesson on number idioms. Thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to press the thumbs up if you like it. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you again next time for another interesting video on ESL English practice with Traveller's Guide. Goodbye for now.